Welcome to the Accounting Arc Podcast, where analysis, reaction, and comedy collide to tackle the big topics from the world of accounting and beyond. Join our trio of transformation agents as they discuss the hottest topics in and out of the profession, from breaking down industry trends, to reacting to everyday events, to uncovering the hidden humor in numbers. With wisdom, insight, and a dash of levity, they're proving that accounting isn't just about the numbers. It's about life. Because after all, accounting is in everything. The Accounting Arc Podcast starts now.
Hey everyone, welcome back to another episode of Accounting Arc. Today I am with Rory Henry and we're going to explore a little bit about maybe a lot about wealth management. So Rory, welcome to the show. Can you please introduce yourself? Tell us where you're located and kind of what your role is and what you do.
Yes, Donny, thank you so much for having me on. You've been on my podcast 3 times, so I'm finally glad that I was able to make it on yours here. I am the director here at Arrowroot Family Office, and we are out of Marina Del Rey, California. I also just released my book on CPA Trendlines, a holistic guide to wealth management, integrating services using the human side of behavioral financial advice.
Ooh, I think we got to dive into that.
We will, yes.
What does that mean, like the human side? Let's jump in.
Ooh, that's a good question here.
Let's dive into that. Yeah, what does that mean, human first? 'Cause that kind of stood out for me.
Yeah, that's such a good question, Donnie. Really, human first advice came out of this behavioral finance movement that is big in the wealth management space. And behavioral finance, for folks out there, it's really understanding that we as humans aren't rational beings. I think we can all understand that. More so than politics, sex, religion, money has a greater impact on our brain. And so we make irrational decisions when it comes to money. So this human first approach is this big movement that's been going on in the wealth space is really helping understand what matters most to folks, really what their values are, what the other dimensions of their well-being is. There's things outside of financial well-being. There's your physical well-being, your emotional well-being, your spiritual well-being. So it's really looking at the totality of a client. So when I say holistic, many people think of all the holistic services from taxes to insurance to estate planning. Really, human first is looking at the holistic nature of the person as well, really helping them understand more about themselves, their relationship to money, but more importantly, to meaning, looking at their values, and then helping them map out a plan of where they want to go in the future. So it's really this personalized approach to really understanding our clients so we can advise them more effectively.
So when I listen to you say that, it sounds like you're a life coach. Are you a life coach?
Well, there's actually a study by McKinsey that said by 2030 that we all become basically life coaches who are helping people with their taxes, their health, their wellness, looking at their insurance, their estate planning. Really, in the end, they say that we're just going to become life coaches and helping people optimize their well-being.
Well, I guess I asked that because my question is more around how do I tie this back into account? And maybe actually you said wealth management.
Yes.
And so is this something for wealthy people? Is that what it helped me manage how rich I am?
Well, we say healthy, wealthy, and wise. And this is for anybody, whether you're wealth seeking or you're trying to preserve your wealth. Really holistic financial guidance is really mapping out your finances, putting everything out there, budgeting properly, and then understanding what it needs to take you to where you want to go to meet those goals in retirement, to really make sure that you're sound financially. So it's looking at taxes, it's looking at the components of investments, it's looking at your business or your income, and really understanding the whole of your finances. It was really the approach that we want to take. So I always say that if you're folks out there, if your taxes, you're technical, doing the wealth stuff and this human first approach is really transformational. And it's not that big of a lift for folks out there to do that. I always say that you're already almost there, Donnie. For many tax practitioners, they have the technical aspects of it. They just need the skills on the personal side to really ask the right questions to help uncover some of these other services and help people really optimize their finances and well-being.
Without getting too deep into it, what are
Yes.
the other aspects that you try and surface?
From a wealth management perspective or looking at financial planning, Donnie, is that what you're asking?
Just kind of that whole, because you said it's not you've got the tax technical, you do that piece. You said there's these other things that I have to look at, and you mentioned I heard you already mentioned values and like
Yeah.
what is this picture I'm trying to put together?
Well, so if you look at the CFP board and the modules to become a CFP, there's retirement planning, there's estate planning, there's tax planning, there's investment planning, there's risk management insurance as part of the modules to become a financial planner. So taxes are just one part of it. The investments are just one part of it. That's why I always talk about this return on relationship as we move forward and technology is advancing, we're able to do so much more. The compliance work is being done by a lot of the computers and technology. It's really able to pull the levers on what that client needs, whether it's business advice, tax advice, wealth advice. It's really understanding their pain points and hopefully having the answers to get them where they want to go.
I really like that. That's I think that goes back to this whole it's the whole picture, and the
Yeah.
piece that was probably missing was realigning that back to some of those bigger picture values, life goals, those kind of things, rather than just looking how much tax am I saving somebody.
Right. So the big push in the human first or behavioral finance approach is values based planning because the research shows, Donnie, that our values shape our goals shape our behaviors, in turn, our behaviors then reflect our values. So if we be crystal clear on what our values are, then our business decisions, our personal decisions, and in essence, our life decisions can emanate from those values. It really makes the mental processes and bandwidth needed to make decisions a lot easier because we're really making decisions based on those values.
Now you mentioned the CFP. Can you tell us real quick what that is and what it takes to get that?
Well, it is quite extensive. It's just like the CPA. There is a bunch of work that needs to get done. I think the exam is a 170 question exam, so it's probably not as extensive as the CPA exam. You do need to have an experience component of 4,000 or 6,000 hours, so it's a pretty heavy lift. What I tell folks out there, if you're an accounting professional, tax professional, and you're looking to integrate investment management, financial planning, or get into wealth management, the easiest way to do that is either through the PFS program or to take the Series 65. I've had a number of CPAs take the Series 65. Some have even done this in 2 weeks, Donnie. So it's not as difficult as some might think. And if you are a tax professional, if you have that CPA credential and you have that investment Series 65 or that PFS credential, you have that dual advice ability to really help clients with the tax side as well as the investment wealth side. And it's a huge value proposition, especially in this marketplace. And firms are really looking for folks out there who have the dual qualifications.
That makes sense. Now, just for kind of the students that are listening out there, you threw out two additional acronyms, PFS and the Series 65. So really quick, what are those?
Yes. So the Series 65 is to become an investment advisor representative. And investment advisor representative works under RIA, which is another acronym, which is a registered investment advisory firm. It's a wealth management firm. So you're a licensed investment advisor where you can give investment advice for a fee. The PFS credential is what's given by the AICPA, and it's a personal financial specialist. And you can go through the CPA if you have your CPA credential and get that as part of qualification, and that satisfies that requirement to become an AIR, that investment advisor representative.
Perfect, perfect. So now that we've got kind of a feel for what you do,
Yeah.
why do you do this?
Oh.
What is so exciting or invigorating about this for you?
Donnie, I had a tax company at one time. I understood the trust that folks have in that relationship. The profession has long been known as a trusted advisor. I actually built a tax technology at one time similar to Canopy and Carbon, and unfortunately, Canopy had raised a bunch of money and they didn't do well with that money. So the venture community said, Rory, we like what this is, but it's not the right time. But that's when I stumbled on this family office model. And what's the advancements in the wealth tech space were occurring. Trust and will was an estate planning technology that had just came out. And I saw the ability to provide estate planning services to clients, not only on the wealth side, but also on the accounting and tax side. Because as you've heard me say many times, Donnie, one decision affects the other. Taxes affect investments, affects estate plans. There's insurance component to this. So I don't believe these professions can work in silos any longer. We need to be collaborating, working together to make sure that clients are receiving the best business advice, the best tax advice, the best wealth advice, the best estate planning advice, and that all these decisions are working in concert together so we can make great music for our clients.
I love that. I love that. I often use the symphony. We're conducting a symphony,
Yeah.
and so this is what we're really doing is looking how all these different pieces working together so that it is beautiful music and not this discordant craziness that could
Right.
occur instead.
And for those in our audience, Donnie, or those looking to get into the profession, I am a big believer that it is the accounting professional that has the greatest impact on folks out there. They are, I think Jody Padar is the one that said it, they are the financial first responders. They are dealing with folks earliest on in their financial life cycle journey, starting that first business, filing that first tax return, growing that business. On the wealth side, we don't start working with folks many times until they have enough assets to be managed, right? Or enough income to make it sense for a financial plan. But it's those accounting professionals, those ones that are in the trenches, those early adopters that are working with these businesses, these clients early on that can have an outsized impact. That's why I believe those that are listening or those that are looking to get in the profession can take this human first approach on really understanding who our clients are, what their fears, dreams, and aspirations are to help them where they get to where they want to go in life. We're using technology to do that. The technical part is getting easier and easier. It's the transformational part that we can help folks out with and really help change businesses and help change lives.
I love that. I love that.
In today's world, cyber threats don't just target big businesses. They target you. Your small office or home office is at risk.
There are a lot of solutions out there. Not all of them have the same level of security. The Soho Protection Package is designed to provide proactive cybersecurity solutions.
If your firm is looking for assistance in developing your personalized IT policy, connect with an advisor today at link.improvetheworld.net/Soho Cyber. Gain peace of mind that you have the right technology in place to stay protected.
For the person that wants to get started, now you mentioned if I already have a CPA, I can take this certain path. I need to take these exams. But for the student,
Yes.
if a student is listening and going, well, what should I do? I major in accounting? Do I have to be in accounting if I did something else? Like what's the career path?
Well, the great thing about the work we do, there is many different career paths. Whether you want to go in accounting, be a controller, or you want to get into financial planning, wealth management, investment advisory. The thing about financial planning is you don't need technically have a credential for that, right? If you want to start taking online courses on LinkedIn or whatever it is and start budgeting properly, you don't need a credential to do that for folks out there. And for the accounting professional, I really truly believe if you are giving tax planning advice, that should happen within a holistic financial plan. So we should be looking at everything as a whole because people have retirements, that we need to take into consideration. They have family dynamics that we need to look at for estate planning. I would say estate planning, Donnie, is the family office level of care. With the technologies out there now, we can now connect generations and start to have these money conversations. Money has been a taboo topic. I just wrote an article in Thrive or Authority magazine about money harmony and many conflicts that couples have. And we just don't talk about money. We'll talk about sex before we talk about money, right? And we need to have these conversations at the dinner table to start talking about what money is. And It's understandable. We have a fear. There's a certain stigma associated with maybe not having enough money, but I think we need to have open and honest conversations in regards to money, so we can help people have healthier financial habits when it comes to it. I'm an advocate for just having better conversations. And for folks out there, I think it starts in the household, and we can start having better conversations to have better dialogues.
I would completely agree with you. Just basic financial literacy, right? How do I manage my day to day?
Yeah.
Those are the things it's often thought of as, oh, we got to push that down. It's the poor people that we have to worry about in this, but it's really anybody, whether you don't have money and need to make sure the little that you have gets managed better, or you have a
Right.
lot, that whole spectrum really needs to look at financial planning and financial management.
Yeah, and for those looking to get started just investing in the market, this is an investment advice, but for folks out there, it's really not about timing the market. Let me buy the stock market or buy this stock. It's really time in the market. It's the power of compounding, and just getting started for folks out there. And then they can start budgeting properly, saving and investing those funds and seeing that grow over time. So I believe to get started out there, folks can really have a healthier habit when they start investing and they get that money mindset. They can see that money grow. They can protect that money. They can put more money into it to hopefully have a nest egg in the future.
And actually, I think you just gave me another example of, if you're one of those that happens to be doing that and you're doing it maybe as a hobby for yourself, or you're telling your friends, oh, you should buy this because I read all this stuff and whatever.
Yeah.
If you want to turn that into a career, is this a potential path for someone that enjoys doing that type of stuff?
Yeah. There's financial coaching. I went through the financial therapy curriculum. My friend, Dr. Christy Archuleta, she's a pioneer in the space. And she was the one who really brought together the world of therapy with financial planning. And we've had great conversations, Donnie. And she's always said to me, Rory, we just don't ask ourselves what our relationship to money is. We don't ask those questions. What are the cultural influences? What were our first money memories? It's a great question to ask. Do you remember your first money memory, Donnie? I know I'm putting you on the spot here.
Ooh. I know, just when you said that, I was like, what is my first money memory? I think it's probably getting it for, like as a present.
Yeah. Do you remember what that present was? Or what you got with the money?
Money in the envelope.
Yeah.
I probably bought a Lego set or
There
something
you
like
go.
that.
Yeah, I mean, exploring the topics. Who was influential as well when it came to your beliefs around money. Did you have your parents? Did you have an uncle, an aunt? Did you have a family friend? So exploring, who was influential when it comes to our beliefs around money. That's important. So that's more the psychological, emotional side. It's not technical. I know it can be a little uneasy for folks out there who use the technical advice, but this is just human to human advice. It's like we're around a campfire or on a Zoom call right now, talking about our lives and who are impactful. And that really is that introspection that we all can do to really understand more about ourselves.
Well, and you've been using the word transformation a bunch, and you
Yeah.
just used the word impactful.
Yeah.
And so we often at the center here feel like accountants and anyone in the accounting profession is really an agent of transformation. We are helping our clients go through these transformations, and we're having an impact. So in what you've done, have you ever felt like you've saved the day for your clients, or can you help them be more successful? Can you give us an example of that?
Yes, I can, Donnie. And it goes back to maybe the technical advice that got turned into the transformational advice. We're working with one of the CPA partners, and he had a client come in, and we're going to open up a retirement plan for his company, and we're getting into like the blocking and tackling of the 401k, and I said, hey, wait 1 second. I said, let me ask you this: in 10 years, what does your ideal life look like? The client paused for a while and said, you know what? I would be traveling in an RV, visiting national parks with my wife. I would be working, but not as much as I am now. The team I had would be taking over a lot of the work. So, and so I wouldn't be doing as much, but I would still be tied to my business. But I'd be traveling the country in my RV. At that point, that conversation went from a technical conversation to a transformational conversation about life. And then we were able to map out a plan for him to retire 5 years early, build retirement plans for his employees. So there's succession planning in there. So that conversation was strictly a technical one. We got to be able to transformational because he got to his wants, his needs, and where he wanted to be, and really activating that future state. My friend Hal Hirschfield, who I quote in the book, I talk about him all the time. He's over at UCLA. I'm a UCLA Bruin. He wrote the book, Your Future Self. And the research he's done, Donnie, is that we treat our future selves as no different than a stranger. I mean, think about it. When you go to the supermarket and you're hungry, you don't think about Donnie a week from now who might not be as hungry. So you load up on all his groceries. And so he says the antidote to making better decisions for our future state is to create a vivid visual picture of that future self. What are you doing? Who are you with? Where are you at? And then most importantly, how do you feel? So if we can create that mental image, almost a movie of that future state, we can then make choices in the here and now that'll make that future self come true.
Oh, I really like that too. So often at the center, again, we say that one of the services that accountants provide is vision and clarity.
Yeah.
And that's exactly it. What does that future self look like? And then the clarity is this is how you're going to get and make that a reality.
Yes. Yeah. There's science behind that, Donnie.
Love it. So the other thing we often say, okay, so you're an agent of transformation, and a lot of times, just like in the superhero world, you've got some superpowers. What's your superpower?
Oh my gosh. Well, I trademarked Advise Roar, as you probably know, Donnie, and the Roar is not short for Rory. It's for return on relationship. I think I'm really good at relationships. I think I get along with people really well. I try to find a way to help folks out to help them get to where they want to go in life. So that's a superpower of mine. Also failure. I know that might be interesting to you. I took improv in my mid-30s. So if you're a student or even anybody in your early career or anybody of any age can benefit from improv. It is terrifying and transformational all at once. I had a fear of public speaking, and so I said, you know what, I got to get over that fear. And so improv has been a huge catalyst to getting to where I am today, and hopefully, where I want to go tomorrow. It's taught me a couple of life lessons on it. I won't go on too long here, but it's taught me with the ability to be okay with failing. And it teaches you, because you're on stage and things might not go well, you should move on to the next scene. Just like in business, just like in life, you become okay with failing, you become hardened to that. It also taught me to have a yes and mentality. That's a major tenet in improv, is yes-anding what your partner said. So yes-anding that business meeting, yes-anding that trip, yes-anding that date, yes-and life. You never know what will happen, because the universe is, when you take chances, the universe usually rewards you. And then it taught me teamwork, being part of a group of improvisers, building something that is hopefully interesting and funny out of just one word, a suggestion from the audience member, takes some teamwork and active listening, and really understanding not just being what's said, but the undertones of your teammates there, and that helps out in business and it helps in life. So 3 things improv taught me: saying yes and actively listening and teamwork, and then being okay with failing.
I love that you're bringing up all of these non-technical, often called soft skills. We call them success skills.
Yeah.
But it takes more than just knowing the content. And this is also why, too, I think a lot of times people are like, well, that the straight A student, or now I feel like it's more than 4.0 GPA
Yeah,
with
right.
all the stuff that happens. But they're like, that's a successful. And I think you're giving some great examples. And a lot of the other guests on our show here have been great examples of where, no, that's technical knowledge. That's
Yeah.
one thing. And you've got all these other things: communication, teamwork, attitude, that really makes a successful professional.
Yeah. I mean, in a world of AI, it's going to be smarter than all of us combined that can look up answers. What's the differentiator? It's really those relationships. and building those relationships. If you're a student there, and I say go to those functions, those social functions, because those are the people that are going to help you get to where you want to go in life. I wouldn't be here on this podcast with you, Donny, without some tremendous folks, friendships, family members who have helped me get to where I am today, and relationships have gotten me to this point, and they continue to help me thrive as a business person and as an individual.
Excellent advice. Okay, so we talked about your superpower.
Yeah.
What's the counterpoint? What's your vulnerability? Superman, it was kryptonite for Superman, Supergirl. What's your vulnerability?
Oh, that's a good question. I sometimes probably bite off more than I can chew. Before we hit record here, Donny, as you know, I showed you some stuff. I'm working on a television show, and which is a huge endeavor. And so I get excited about the possibilities of what's out there. And sometimes I got to rein myself in. But yeah, that's maybe one of my vulnerabilities is I might take on too much work or initiatives. And I got to kind of rein myself back, before I get too crazy.
I think any entrepreneur is doing that.
Right.
I'm definitely in that boat too.
Yep.
Well, thank you. So I think this has been really eye-opening. Actually, I learned a lot too about what's going on and the changes, because I've often think of it like I said, like wealth management. Okay, I'm doing investment management is really, but you've really opened my eyes to how much broader it is. If
Yeah.
people want to get in contact with you, what's the best way to get in contact with you?
Yeah, well, to kind of build off what you just said, Donny, I really believe we're moving into this world where we're providing for the many business and personal finance needs of the client. We're not looking at things from a siloed service. We're looking at things from a relationship. How can we improve the outcomes and the lives of the people that we're working with? And so the big movement that I've been talking about isn't wealth management. It's really helping people understand more about themselves, helping them grow their business, helping them grow their personal finances. But in the end, like I've said many times here, really optimizing their well-being and improving the lives of themselves, their family members, and the community at large. I'll stop there before I go on any further. The best way to reach me, you can always reach me on LinkedIn, Rory Henry. I'm also on Twitter, Rory S. Henry. I'm at Arrowroot Family Office. So if you want to email me, I'm rory@arrowrootfamilyoffice.com. There's a landing page for the book. If you're interested in the book and what we talked about today, you can visit the landing page. It's adviseror.com. advisror.com. It's also available in CPA Trendline, so go to CPA Trendline shop to order the book.
Excellent. Well, again, thank you so much. And for those of you out there, thanks for joining us for this episode, and hope to see you on a future episode. See you for now.
Thank you, Donny.
The Center for Accounting Transformation provides business professionals with a network for utilizing innovations that are ready for adoption, the training and resources necessary to apply those innovations, and an opportunity to engage the talent and community needed to further the pursuit of innovative accounting practices that drive responsible and mindful business performance. Find out more at our website, www.improvetheworld.net. And if you're interested in sharing your own transformation stories, please contact us there.